everybody. Welcome to another beautiful, wonderful, fantastic Wednesday with Cosmic Sis-Stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So today we have Wednesday, July 2nd and Thursday, July 3rd in Australia, the down under world, right? And we will talk about chaos creates completion. And that is kind of an interesting topic, to be honest. And yes, we are walking our talk like always. And just a heads up, because last week we talked about the Celestian prophecy. That was last Wednesday, June 25th. The Celestian prophecy by James Redfield, Insight 4, the control drama. People often compete for energy unconsciously, taking someone else's energy because having a sense that there's a lack that we cannot fill by ourselves, right? And how to do that. So that's interesting. If you missed that show, you can find it at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past and also on YouTube at youtube.com/at angelplaceonearth/streams. I made it. And we launched a 12-part series in May this year, where Karine and myself are diving deep into the Celestian prophecy by James Redfield. And there are 12 insights. And throughout this year, we will explore the insights and real world applications because it's still going strong, right? It has so much depth, and it's energy, and it's important to understand energy because we live in an energetic world. Nothing is solid. Everything will culminate in a full summary with all revelations, right? So we're going to come to that, and I think that's going to be a huge show, summoning up 12 insights. Join us on the journey, and we stream the series twice a month. And this month, because we are in July, we have 5 Wednesdays. So that means that today we stream a, a usual ordinary show, Chaos Creates Completion. Next week, we will have Insight 5. And then we have 2 ordinary shows. And then the last 30th of July, we stream the 6th Insight, right? Am I correct? I hope so. We have a saying in Sweden, I'm trying to keep my tongue straight in my mouth, saying the right thing.
Yes.
And as we said, also, you can find upcoming and past episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming-past, and also find our series at angelplaceonearth.com/series-cosmic-guardians. Why did I put in an extra dash there? Anyway, I can change that. And our last show, last week, we talked about the control drama, Insight 4. People often compete for energy unconsciously. And I think that even though certain of our shows now, twice a month, are from the Celestian prophecy, and we talk about other things, everything is combined. Everything follows like a chain, one thing leading to the other and to the next. Because energy and control and everything can also create chaos, can't they?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, read articles, connect with Karine, find her website, find her phone number, everything you need from her and myself as well at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic-guardians. And I think I talked enough. Yeah.
A little chaotic there, right? Okay. It's
Yeah,
interesting.
a little bit.
You're
I had a wonderful. Yeah, go ahead, please.
getting your tongue. We say, my tongue got covered up my eye teeth and I couldn't see what I was saying.
Okay.
But welcome to chaos, and you are so correct that when the universe says nudges us to talk about something, it says, well, we're going to give you all kinds of material. We're going to let you experience this, so you're not just sitting there like reading it off the paper. And it's interesting because the very first Celestine prophecy was about chaos, was
Yes,
about
it was.
feeling that stirring that something isn't right, and needing to make a change. And I mean, everything around us would not be had it not been a chaotic moment. I mean, welcome to the beginning of the universe. There was chaos
Exactly.
to create the stars, the galaxy, to create Gaia. And we would not exist if we didn't have the yin and the yang, the gentle urging to make a change, to release what's not working, to release the unfamiliar, to release the shadows, the habits, the belief systems. We would never, ever emerge into our true self if we were not willing, and I use this in a big word, willing to do the work, willing to look at ourselves and realize we need to polish the diamond, and willing to put in the time and effort. It's not going to happen without cleaning house. And you can't expect someone else to come in and clean your house. You have to get down there and scrub the floors yourself, you know?
Exactly. No one else is going to do it for you. And as that saying, we had a minor discussion before the show, as we always have, right? And I'm going to mention it because we're going to have that a separate show anyway in the future. But everybody wants change, but very few people want to change. Did you
Mm-hmm.
get that?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. And uh, there are times when we feel that something is not right. And instead of having the habit of saying, it's because of them, it's because of the job, it's because my parents, it's because I live in this place, rather than saying, well, maybe there's something that I need to address within myself. And when this starts bubbling up and we become uncomfortable and feel that little chaos, well, maybe that's when we meet someone. They suggest a book that leads to a class that may lead to a career change, or personality change, or a personal shift. Well, that sounds like the Celestine prophecy, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. But the world is always in motion, and it moves in and out of this chaos. It cleans things up, it clears, makes a way for a new perspective, a new evolution. I mean, we would not have survival on this earth if we didn't have chaos in the sun. We wouldn't
No,
survive if we didn't have the chaos of the storms that bring the rain. Our earth itself, and Hawaii, I am honoring Hawaii today, would not even be if it weren't for the volcanic and earthquakes. If there's not movement, if there's not the big bang, so to speak, we can't make a change.
no, we can't. And I have a very simple example. Uh, it at the surface level, it seems very practical, right? But when we, for instance, want to renovate or uh, paint the walls at home or renovate windows, so doing work, groundwork at home, it's going to look chaotic because
Very
we
much
have
so.
to collect all our stuff, all our things, right? It's the same with energy. And when we want that change and we ask for the change and we are rearranging the energy, we are stirring up the energy, another way of saying it, right? So that
Yes.
means that we are going to see energy in motion. So in that sense, that is beautiful because
Yes.
we did ask for it in one way or the other. And I had my share today.
And yesterday, I'm preparing to send this information to you, because I wanted to get it to you so you would be able to do things in your space and time. And the program that I used decided to do its own thing. And so I'm thinking, okay, how do I get this information to her? We maybe we could talk on the phone. I'm going through all of these different scenarios while I'm going through this chaotic. Okay, what's going to happen? Fortunately, it just my daughter
Oh,
came
sorry.
over and we got it kind of corrected. But it was I thought, thank you, universe, for letting me feel this, uh, and thank you for getting me through it. And a lot of times what we're going through is for the purpose of allowing us to grow from the situation. And our what we take as normal and dot to dot to dot to da matrix chink 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 chink. Sometimes that world becomes shaky and unfamiliar. But if we take it as a wow, the alarm is going off. We need to do something rather than, oh my gosh, what's going to happen now? And look for all the woo and the boo. Hey, I like that expression, the woo and the boo. But that's true. It's how we perceive, how we analyze what's going on, and how we decide to let it be a change that is going to allow us to emerge into something more beautiful, or just sit there being the victim.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I think, and this is my perception and my personal way of seeing things and my statement. But sometimes maybe we are taking things too seriously in this world, in this realm. If we think that the soul is infinite, right? Our spirit, then we come here, it's like taking a trip, a journey. We go somewhere else for a certain amount of time and then we go back home. So, in that perspective, why don't enjoy ourselves?
Yes. And go with the flow and enjoy the show. You know, uh, let's take a little tiny caterpillar. Happy little caterpillar. It's nice and fat and fluffy. And all of a sudden, oh, what's going on? And it dies. It literally goes into a cocoon. It doesn't move. It's like typically dead. It's been wrapped in silk and it's just sitting there. It doesn't know what's going to happen on the other end. It doesn't know if this is the end or, oh my goodness, I saw this happen to my friends, but this is terrible. But they allow the process.
Yeah.
And in that process, they emerge transformed and changing how we perceive what is going on around us and realizing, and this is a big realization, change can only come from here.
Yes.
But when we change, it allows the rest of the world to find their change. We don't create the change out there, we create the change within.
Exactly. And also, I love that you said we allow others and the world to change. in their own unique way, because we can't state how the world is going to change, right?
Correct. Correct. And being a part of this wonderful experiment and doing the best that we can by finding our authentic reason for being here and allowing the rest of the world to do their thing.
Yeah.
You and I have very often said that we are stubborn, tenacious, and we listen to suggestions. But if someone comes into our face and says, "You have to do it this way," it isn't going to happen because we are
No.
going to pull up our, not us. However, if we're watching the change over there and see how miraculous that is, and that person's attitude has changed, then we can find within ourselves how to make a change. And allowing, this is a big word, and having the faith that in their time they will find what they need to do. But there,
Exactly. And something
go ahead.
else. I get so eager, I want
Well, that's okay. I do too. I mean, it's
so where were I? Yeah, if we don't have the courage, if we step into fear and don't have the courage to try something different, a different approach, a different perspective, seeing things from different angle, trying something, even taking action differently,
Mhm.
then we are going to be in the same loop.
Yep, yeah, and constantly wondering why life throws me the same problems all the time, over and over and over and over. Well,
Yeah, but I
because
I don't want to change. I don't want to change, right? I want you to change.
exactly, and it's real easy to blame relationships, job, lack of education, parents. But anytime that you point a finger, there's three pointing back at you, kind of
Yeah.
going like, well, maybe there's a little something that I'm contributing to this whole upside down scenario. And
Can I chime in with a little funny story with a caterpillar?
oh yes, please.
Yes. So a few years ago, quite a few actually, I was at a place, they have a swimming pool, a big one, and you pay entrance and you go in and they have grass and you can sit in the sun. It was summertime. And they have some trees in there too, right? And I spotted a caterpillar, a big one, big, juicy, thick one.
Ooh,
I'm not very fond of having those things. I love all creatures and animals, but I don't like them crawling on me, right?
no. Oh,
No. So I saw it maybe 1 meter away from me, but I chilled out and I was laying down in the sun. And after 20 minutes, half an hour, I raised myself up and I was looking, where is that thing, right? I didn't see it where I spotted it. I saw it on the other side. So I figured, oh, it passed through me.
yeah, that's true. But in your in your ability to not go into fear, not go into, well, I'm going to correct it because I'm superior, or any of these other things that we have a tendency to do, you allowed the process. Now, if it had crawled on you, you would have taken action. You would have,
Yeah.
put it somewhere else. So this is what we have been talking about, and many things about finding your authentic self, not taking things personally, um, being impeccable with your speech. These are all things that are leading up to being able to see chaos as a cleansing process. And
Yeah.
believe me, I am going through that. Anytime I go through a really uh, big spiritual change, an awareness change, a cleaning me out. Also, I have to clean around me. I don't want clutter. Things that I have that I don't need anymore. I need to get them out of here, um, because I am allowing for a new
Yeah.
perspective to come in, a
Yeah.
new dimension in my life, and it can't be filled with old, pulling me down ideas and things.
Exactly. You know what? Part of the process is also, like you say so beautifully, allowing, because we have to allow. One day, as from the four agreements, my best is going to be different from yesterday, or it's going to be tomorrow, because maybe I'm experiencing things. Allowing myself, not stuffing up all the things that I feel, allowing myself, get it out, and
Yes,
then be done with it, because we are not going to feel like we are going to laugh each and every day. It's a part of our journey here. It's no punishment. It's nothing bad. It's not bad karma. Something of that nature doesn't really exist in that sense that many think that bad karma, I did something wrong. Um, Karma is cause and effect. That's different. It's an energy. If you intentionally do something bad to someone to hurt them, it's going to come back to you, but it's not a punishment. It's for you to learn. How did that taste, right? But not being fearful of seeing a little bit of chaos, because, we can't make changes without seeing energies moving around, because
yeah,
that is what we asked for, right?
yes. I mean, I wanted to paint my house. Uh, Now that meant moving the furniture that was up against the walls. And while everything was pulled into the middle of the room, it was very chaotic. But it was a necessary move to accomplish the creation and the completion of the
Yeah.
job that I had given myself. And in nature, it's so beautiful to watch nature. And in the park across the street from me, I take people out to look at these two trees. There's a pine tree that's growing here, and then there's a different kind of tree here. And what happens is they don't go like this and struggle. This branch comes here, so this one fills there. Then this one fills here, and that one fills there. They live in that beautiful blend of making the whole ecosystem work. And plants, if they're planted in a situation that is unhealthy for them, they will root and push that root further and further and further until, oh, I found water. Okay, here we'll start going up. And you wonder why something is planted way over here and yet it comes up over there, because it found the place that was healthy. It moved away from the toxicity. And as humans, we sometimes have this need, and I call it a need, to correct someone else, to make it work. And we sometimes overstay our time in that situation because we have the doubts and the tribulations and what will happen and I should be better and all of this, and we end up just both all the parties suffering. And I love the four agreements because they guide us through dealing with the humanness of life, you know.
Yeah, they do. And they are standing strong. And again, I can give a heads up for where you find our series. You can find, of course, you can find them on YouTube at um, youtube.com/at Angel Place on Earth /streams, but you can also find our series and articles and everything connected to them at angelplaceonearth.com slash series dash cosmic dash guardians. I got it.
Yes. Well, I know from our conversations that you and I, on some level, made a very conscious decision to allow ourselves to emerge as the best authentic version that we could be. And we have diligently put in the time and the effort. We have gone one way and that didn't work, so we changed directions and went another way. We gone through relationships, we've gone through personal tragedies, we've gone through physical tragedies, we've gone through all these things that instead of them being um, um, well, this is life and manure occurreth. I love that expression. We have said we're going to take that manure and we're going to grow from it. And the willingness to say, okay, this is not the journey I'm going to take right here. So let's see what the route will take me over here.
Exactly. Because if we don't try, how can we experience something new?
Exactly. Exactly. And life, because energy is in motion, we are not blocks of stone. And the wonderful gift that we're given is the ability to move. We don't have to stay stagnant. We don't have to stay in something that is not healthy for you, them, us, even the environment. And that is the beauty of the potential of the human,
Yeah.
as opposed to completely depending on AI.
Yeah.
Is we have resilience, we have compassion, we have emotion, and this allows us to be fluid. Where if you put something that's rigid, like I am running this program, and if I glitch up, you just have to deal with it, like yesterday. And it didn't care whether I was unable to make my contact or not. It had no emotion. It just said, tough. This is the way it's going to be. Figure it out. And so it's a beautiful situation that we're given, and emotions can also cause chaos, but they're given to us for a reason, to be able to motivate us to
Yeah.
have that little, this is not working for any of us. So how can I make a change so
Exactly.
I will be able to see things differently?
Exactly. And it comes to the bottom line that we always are in our full power to make any choice we want. And if we made a choice in the past, we can make as many choices as we want, right?
Correct. Yes.
All the time. Change them. Try. Be bold. Have courage.
Exactly. And if that little nidgin of fear comes up, you don't have to feed it. You don't have to buy into it. You just say, okay, go away, and go on with the other. Um, I had always had a dream of building a healing center, a place of sanctuary and peace. And I had envisioned it in the mountains and with an orchard and all kinds of wonderful things. However, it didn't quite manifest everything I needed. I had a friend whose husband is a contractor, and I saw some of his work, and I thought, And I came home and I wrote on my mirror, literally these words: Rocky, that's his name, will build me a castle, and I will have all new furniture and all new appliances. Now, I didn't use the word someday. I didn't put it off to the future. I said, Rocky will build me a castle, ta 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 ta. And I left it. I didn't think anything about it. Went about my business doing what I want. Well, over the summer, his wife, Terry, and I would go up to her cabin because I was practicing to see if I could hold the energy of the oneness and hold it in an area where people that came to meditation would be able to feel it. So they wouldn't have to spend years and years and years trying to get into that energy. And while we were up there, one July, 12 years ago, I received a phone call. And phone to ear, yes, okay. Had a funny look on my face. She's looking at me like, what's funny? I held the phone to her and I said, this is a fireman. And he said, my house just burned down. You know? So coming down the mountain, I said to my friend, I said, well, you better get used to what I'm wearing because I don't think I have any clothes. You know? So we come down the mountain and her husband is already on the property because she called him and he's over here. And we get back and I was told that my dad was okay and my dogs were okay, but my house burned down is basically how he said it. So I get here and I have a house that's built out of cinder blocks. So the frame was there, but the whole roof was now my floor. You know, everything was crushed in and the fire was out and I'm looking at it and I'm going, oh, I think when Rocky rebuilds my house, he can make me a sunroof. So a moonroof. I love the moon, you know, and just leave the top open. So I said to him, I said, you know, maybe when you rebuild, you can just leave it open like that. Now I chose to, rather than, oh my gosh, what's going to happen and everything, to see the possibilities. And it took him a year to rebuild a house. And after he built it, he asked if he could put a sign in the front yard to say that his company built it. I never knew what the man's company name was. And I'm glad you're sitting down. Because his company was called Castle Builders.
Yeah, that is a story, isn't it?
So it was as if the universe said, well, she's due for a miracle, but the only details we have is that she wants a healing center, but we don't know where to put it. So let's just clear the area and start again.
Yeah.
My house is twice the size that it was before. Where we do meditation every Tuesday night, this room will hold, I can get 40 chairs in here and have classes. And so I have my healing center. It may not be in the mountains where I forgot to put on the list of where I wanted it. But out of chaos came the completion of my dream.
Yeah. And you know, when life throws at you things that are unexpected, and many at a surface level would say that's something very bad that happened, right? You chose to see the possibilities and opportunities, as you said, right? And you could also say that because you didn't think about it, because you stated your intention of what you wanted and you left it,
Mm-hmm.
right? We can be more specific when we are manifesting things,
Be more
if we
specific.
want to. Yeah. So we can, I manifested a lot of things too. Um, I manifested a house in Greece.
Yes, you did.
Uh, it was opposite of the land where I thought I would be manifesting it, building it, but it came at a much better place.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that's a beautiful thing that you said, because we manifest. However, if we allow the details to not be micromanaged by us and it has to be here and it has to do this and have to do that. If we allow the universe to be as benevolent as it is, and it says, okay, we'll help you with this, but if you allow us, we're going to make it even grander than you could even imagine.
Exactly. And a common thing that people want to, I say thing, but usually relationships. Okay, I had just a pop-up window coming here, annoying me. Coming back to you guys. So if relationships, we have, um, or many people very often have, oh, I want a woman, a curvy woman, having that kind of color in her eyes, this kind of hair, or the opposite, a man. I want him to be 180 centimeters, at least, well fit. Details of that nature, are they really important? Or do you want to manifest someone who is in alignment with you?
Hmm. Yes.
Are you trying out that people don't judge the book by its cover? And we do that a lot of the time because maybe your what you state as your type is something that you are used to, and maybe it's not your type, right? And
Yeah.
the same goes for anything we want to manifest. But I
Yeah.
think it's sad sometimes. And then all of a sudden, people meet someone who are different and they get afraid
Yes.
because
And
I
a lot,
don't recognize this, right?
yeah, and a lot of that comes from uh, peer influence, media influence, that you're supposed to look this way, act this way, find this, and everything is going to be um, all roses
Pink
and
and
so forth.
roses. Yeah,
Yes, thank you. Um, but allowing yourself to, first of all, find your authentic self, because when you start having that self-love and knowing who you are at the core, what you see in another person may not necessarily be the outer covering, but you're going to be able to relate to the soul. It's as if, and I say this lovingly, long before Avatar came out, I began using the expression, I see you. Because love, people love their dog, love their house, love the pizza, love this. Love is misused. And I wish we used the words in Greek, because they have love for a parent, love for a child, love for a, there all these different ways of saying I love you. And if we used that correctly, it would be slightly different. But I find that if I allow myself to really see the essence of you,
yeah,
then I have a connection that is way beyond what we conceive as the word love.
exactly. And I see you too. And
Thank
we
you.
see all of you watching this,
Yes.
right? Because, when you state to someone, I see you, that also means that I'm approaching you, but I don't want to change you. I see you. I
E-
accept you.
e- Exactly. Exactly. Now, if by being with another person allows them to see their greatness and their potential and they make a change, that's beautiful. But I didn't come here to manipulate and control the people around me, because heaven forbid, I really don't want to have a mini me running around. I mean, one of me in the world is far enough. So
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure, but I love it that the universe read my note, and said, well, we're going to do the best we can. And as I said, every Tuesday at 7 o'clock here in Mesa, which is Mesa and Phoenix are just like, you don't even know when you're moving from one. It's a street between us. So anybody that's in this area, if they're welcome to come to an open heart meditation on Tuesday night, don't have to know what to do, because as I said, I hold the oneness. You come and you sit in this, bask in this energy. Uh, I often use the expression, I'm going to take you guys on a vacay, and I'll bring you back safely, luggage and all. And then we discuss, because sometimes people have um, things come up in the meditation, and so we'll have it. So it's kind of a learning situation also. But um, we would love to have anybody that wants to come. You have my contact information, and folks, we are being called at this time. Light workers everywhere. It's time to
together.
to gather, see the light. And I'm not saying I'm going to change you. I am allowing you to step into the light and change yourself.
Yeah, and finding our own personal path, right?
That's right.
Because that is what it's all about. We didn't come here, all of us, to do the same thing.
Not at all.
We are a complement to each other, right?
Exactly.
So I'm just going to give a heads up. You can find Kareen at liquidenergyhealing.com. You can call her at 480-250-1815 or email at lqenergy@yahoo.com,
Thank you.
right?
Yes.
Don't miss this opportunity.
Yeah. It's nice to have a haven where empaths and indigos and all of these beautiful star children and light bearers, a place where you don't have to explain yourself. Uh, you're here. You're amongst people that are understanding you at a level that is way beyond anything other people can understand, and it's a place of comfort and a place to kind of get recharged.
Exactly. Rejuvenate, listening within, growing in a wonderful energy, because that is important. As a sensitive light worker, it's important to also have from time to time a sacred haven on this earth, right?
Believe me, yes.
And as we talked about chaos, sometimes things must fall apart for something new and truly whole to emerge. And that's exactly what you said, the story about how you created your healing center.
Hmm.
It sounds maybe huge, disruptive, or sometimes negative for someone, right? But you have to look beyond. If you didn't send out any kind of intention, yeah, you would have been at the same place, and you would have half of the area you have now, half the size of your house, right? You wouldn't
Yes,
have had that opportunity. So there's no matter what happens, there is always a hidden blessing in everything,
yes,
everything. But we need to see it. We need to have the courage not to dig into, oh, I'm having a pity party. Yeah, I can have a pity party sometimes for five
right.
minutes and then I'm
That
done.
5 minutes, that's it.
And if we look to nature itself, right? Um, the nature of disruption, chaos also, right? Consider the natural world, a forest fire, seemingly destructive, clears deadwood and allows new growth to flourish.
Yes.
A storm, violent in its intensity, cleanses the air and nurtures the soil. In our own lives, periods of intense disruption serve a similar, if more personal purpose, right? So we live in this world where things actually happen and everything is not, we talked last week about control. And when I feel the lack of control, I want to take energy somewhere else from because I'm fearful.
Yes.
We can't have control of everything. It's not our thing to determine what's going to be all over the place. We can start from in here. And when we radiate, we create our own personal reality, meaning that that reality is going to connect with someone else's.
Yes.
And sometimes to reach that point, um, yeah, we're going to walk through chaos because being willing to grow and understand yourself, it doesn't mean that it's going to be like you said before, pink and roses every day. It's not only love, light, and peace and joy every time, but that's what we are aiming for. But we
Mhm.
also have a lot of things to learn from things we have been experiencing that are triggering us.
That's very true. And this idea of control, and people want control. And I often think, what if I said to that person, if you want to control, why don't you try controlling your bodily functions? Remember to breathe. Remember to flow the blood. Remember to make the kidneys work. You know, when you think that we literally go through the world and this mechanism that carries our soul through this world has all of these functions, that if we had to remember, oh, it's time to breathe. Oh no, wait a minute. I forgot to take a drink. Oh, I forgot. Wait a minute. The blood isn't flowing. So control is not what it's made up to be. And as you said, in nature, we don't like the horrific um, fires that we're having, or excessive floods and things like that. But out of the fire produces charcoal. Charcoal is so vital to feeding the soil. And it's a process. Even when the volcanic flows go over the land, within a reasonable amount of time, new life starts because that volcanic waste brings such nourishment. And
Yeah.
in the balance and in the beauty of it, um, just daily living, just being born was very chaotic.
Yeah. And Greg Braden, in one of his, he have made so many videos and he's speaking always so truthfully and so good. He's a scientist,
Yes,
as a foundation. And he says that the the earth has its own way. We these days we do create things that may not be good for the earth, right? But it has its own cycles. We had the ice age. We had other times. We had dryness. We had certain areas who are now desert were flourishing with
hmm,
green and trees and everything
yes,
at a certain point. But it is also, don't forget, it's also the Earth's natural way of changing, right? And
yes,
when it becomes a problem for us, is because maybe we overdid something sometimes. So we built um, along the coastlines. Maybe we should have built a little bit into the land, not at the coastline. You know what I mean, right?
yes,
So there are, because we are so many, um, but we need to also understand that everything that happens with the earth is not unnatural.
No, the only thing that I personally take responsibility for as being human is that we've what would take the earth maybe 10,000 years to do, we did in 250.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah,
so
exactly.
we have to realize that instead of being caregivers, uh, we became the control freaks. And and our ancestors had learned how to live in the harmony and learn in the balance. And but we're learning. And the beauty is that everything is cyclical, and we go through the cycles and we go through the rhythms. And chaos is part of that movement.
Yeah.
um, I mean, if you are a sports fan, the ball would never get to the other end of the court if there wasn't a lot of chaos to move it down
Exactly.
the field. So that's the motion. And nothing would be propelled if there wasn't something going the other direction. For every action, there is an opposite and equal reaction. And learning to be in harmony with this, and and enhancing. I love the way you use that word, enhancing. Enhancing as it is revealing itself. This is this is the way you move through life.
Yeah, and to understand how chaos creates completion, we must learn to navigate its uncomfortable embrace, right?
Exactly.
Our initial reaction is typically resistance.
Oh yeah.
Oh, not wanting to be here, take me away from here, right? So we fight against the changes, desperately try to restore the old order because that's familiar, right? Or lament what has been lost. However, genuine progress comes from a willingness to surrender to the unraveling. This does not mean passive resignation, but rather an active acceptance of the present moment. Here again, present moment, however messy it may be, right? Because I can't say, take me away from here. That makes me fearful and the victim. Okay, maybe I'm not comfortable with how it looks at this moment, but this is how it looks right now. So if I accept that, that helps me to bring me forward. And it is about trusting that even when we cannot see the path ahead, the disruption is serving a higher purpose. This period of seeming disorder forces us to shed what no longer serves us, whether it is a toxic relationship, an, an unfulfilling career, or limiting self perception.
Exactly. And there again, that word, willingness to
Yes,
allow the process. And that doesn't necessarily be mean blind faith, so to speak. It means to see what you need to see and work with it, and be willing to maybe change your perception, and be
yeah,
willing to allow the process to go through. There again, that common sense. I mean, if you're running towards a cliff, and you do have to occasionally make a decision. This ain't gonna go right. you know? And make an intelligent decision, not just go, well, as the Lemmics run, and they get into a mass confusion and just follow them first. And even if there's danger. So we're not saying be obediently blinded. We're being spiritually guided. Oh, I
yeah.
love that. That was a nice little turn of
Write
phrase.
that down and remember it, please. And it is in the aftermath of chaos, as the dust settles, that the seeds of completion begin to sprout, right? With the old impediments cleared, space is created for new possibilities, new insights, and a more authentic version of ourselves to emerge. We often find that the very challenges that seemed insurmountable have equipped us with unforeseen resilience, wisdom, and clarity. The experience of navigating profound uncertainty can reveal strengths we never knew we possessed, right? This is where true completion lies, not in a return to the way things were,
Mhm.
but in the synthesis of all that has transpired, both good and bad, into a more integrated, robust, and enlightened state. We become whole not by avoiding the broken pieces, but by integrating them into a richer tapestry of experience.
Beautiful, beautiful, and that goes into when we were talking about the shadow self. Um,
Yes,
we don't go in there and stuff it into another closet. We allow it to kind of disperse, and then we utilize all of that within the whole, and it becomes part of our guidance and part of our existence, but it no longer is there to step out and scare us and bring us the fear. So bringing those pieces together, um, I love the way that the Japanese, if a pot breaks, crystal, I mean porcelain, if it breaks, they don't throw it away. They pick up the pieces and they don't glue it together. They put gold and
wow,
in it, and they put it together with gold, because the fact that that vessel has fallen and then lovingly being put back together and learning to be a more beautiful thing instead of tossing it away. And I love the way that you said bring the pieces in, utilize the pieces, and instead of cursing the darkness, light a candle.
yeah, yeah. And working with yourself means that you are going to radiate light.
Yes, yes. So
And you find the light in here as well, right?
exactly. And all of the loving things that you can do to really connect with the divine spiritual essence of ourself, we are not being selfish. We are preparing ourselves to be of service and to be selfless.
Yes. You know, the path of growth is very rarely linear. It is often punctuated by periods of significant disruption, right? So
Yes.
I'm striving for something and I see, okay, now I have uphill here. Oh my goodness, one more is coming, and then one more is coming. It doesn't mean, sometimes people think that if I experience a little bit of disruption, that means that I'm on the wrong path.
Yes.
No, but you're going to feel that for yourself. But it's also combined with changes because things can change without being disrupted, right? By reframing chaos not as an enemy, but as a necessary phase in our journey, we can embrace its transformative power. It is through these very experiences of unraveling that we ultimately arrive at a more profound sense of self, a clearer purpose, and a more complete and fulfilling existence. Sorry, I have some kids screaming outside here.
We can't hear them. So,
Good.
Um, a lot of times when people come and they begin their spiritual awakening, and I smile because they come in like a new little child, like, oh, if we get this new toy, everything is going to be okay and the whole world is going to be happy. And I lovingly say, this is a journey, and each opportunity that you're given is, it's like going through graduation from being in high school to the college level, to the PhD level, to the doctor level. I said, each journey is going to give you something that's a little bit more challenging, a little bit more chaotic, but you're going to be equipped to handle that particular challenge with grace and diplomacy and a couple of bruises, maybe. But that's the process. It's, sometimes you gotta scrape your knee, or, get a whap on the head,
Or break your leg.
or break
I'm
your
just
leg.
kidding.
That's true. But each thing that we encounter uh, makes us stronger, makes us more
Yeah.
self-reliant, and brings us closer to who we truly are. And it's a beautiful journey. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I'll tell you one thing: it's worth every bit of the effort, and and you miss out on a lot if you choose not to take it.
Yeah, exactly. Because that is, and of course, that's my perspective. But it's like living a half life. Uh, we don't have the courage to examine other things, other options, trying out things. Um, if I take the safe route, I do whatever I already know, but that's not going to lead to anything brand new. And I'm not saying that that is wrong either, because for someone that may be what they want, right?
Yes,
That's fine, that's perfect. But we can't expect change if we don't want to change.
that's perfect too. And it's interesting because a lot of what you and I do, we will get someone that professes they want the change,
Yeah,
as long as they don't have to do anything. And and we smile and we realize that they'll be back again with the same comment, and we give them a blessing, and that's all we can do, because we allow them to follow their path. Uh,
I've heard things, and it's funny, quite a few times. Not everybody, because there are many who actually have an awareness of themselves as well. But a few people, oh, I don't want to hear about that crap. I don't want to change. I already know that. I've done my homework.
I love
I'm
that one.
finished. I'm finished. Um, I don't need to learn anything more. But can you see what's going to come? Why don't they respond to me in this way, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's, as I said, it's a beautiful journey, and I know that I certainly have not completed it. I am experiencing all kinds of interesting challenges, and uh, people will say to me, "Well, uh, aren't you retired?" And I said, "From what? I'm still living life, you know, and and I will continue writing and healing and teaching until my last breath, um, because that is what living is, not just saying, well, I put my time in and now I can take a vacay from from everything else. That's the time when you say, wow, Now I can expand what I'm doing. I can do that drawing I wanted to do. I can write that book I wanted to write. I can, rather than this is all there is and I earned it and I don't have to contribute anymore. This this is death, not the actual breath leaving the body.
Exactly. And there are so many possibilities and opportunities out there. And to be honest with you, and I started saying this as a joke, but I mean it, and it's serious. It has become serious. Instead of celebrating certain holidays, I'm celebrating 365 days a year. Why not? Because every day brings brand new opportunities.
It
And it's not a
does.
cliche, it's truth.
And and celebrating, the wins and the losses. Being able to be celebratory and being able to be in that joy of just having had the experience, I think that changes the vibration around you, and you begin to see even more little subtle things that you would have missed as you're just moving through the existence of point A to point B.
Yeah.
And having gratitude, having the joy of celebrating, having the willingness to experience what is out there. And believe me, you and I both have been given very many opportunities to go, this isn't working. I'm going to, crawl up in a little corner and and tell the world how bad I've been and all this kind of stuff. But that's not it. I'm encouraged and enthusiastic and inspired. Thank you, Anna. Uh,
Thank you
to
too.
to push beyond what I thought was my limit, because I am limitless.
Yes, yes, I knew that was coming.
Yes,
And we are limitless.
it's true.
So my beautiful cosmic sister, are we ready to wrap it up?
I think we are, because as we know, everything that transpired in this is going to keep popping out through every conversation we have. So we are never through, but we are through this portion of it. And I anticipate whatever is coming in the future.
Yes, that's a good idea. Sounds great. So thank you everybody, and you have been watching Cosmic Sisters with Anne and Corrine. We talked about chaos creates completion today. That is a juicy and interesting and very valid and important conversation. You can find all past episodes at angelplaceonearth.com/upcoming dash past. You can find all our series. We have two series now. We are in the middle of the second series we are doing. We have made the four agreements plus a summary, and now we are doing the Celestial Prophecy, 12 insights plus a summary at the end. And we're going to reach November, in the middle of November, before we are finished with this one. It's a juicy one, right?
Yes.
You can find our series at angelplaceonearth.com/series dash cosmic dash guardians. And our next upcoming show here with Cosmic Sisters is going to be next Wednesday, July 9th, with me and Corinne, and we will talk about The Celestial Prophecy by James Redfield. Insight 5, The Path of Growth. Personal growth leads to greater awareness. And that is so true. And I can give a heads up again here. We launched this 12-part series in May this year, talking about the Celestial Prophecy by James Redfield. Throughout the year, we will explore its insight and real-world applications culminating in a full summary of all revelations. And even though the insights, the first 9 ones came 89, 1989, right? It's still going strong because it's so valid. It's all about energy, how we um, move ourselves forward, how we can grow, how we can understand, how we can grasp this dimension we're living in, right?
Yes.
And we do go live for you every Wednesday, and you can connect with us, find upcoming shows, past episodes, articles, find Corrine, find me, Corrine's phone number, Corrine's website at angelplaceonearth.com/cosmic guardians. And I say thank you for watching Cosmic Sis-Stars show, and we see you, and we see you again soon. Love, life, peace, and joy to all of you.
And thank you again for allowing me to be on this journey with you. It
Thank you
is
too.
it really is a blessing, and uh, the universe magically put us together across time and space, across the continents, and I have blessed every opportunity that I've had to share with you, and I hope that all of this love that we're sending out to all of the beautiful people listening um, can touch you in a way that'll help you find your true self. So, bye bye.
Bye bye.